Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Athena Amoeba. I am coming at you from this super fancy hotel that I just stayed at with my company because we had a big event and we have several offices and we just brought everyone together and it was fun. It was really, really fun. And the reason that I wanted to make a video right now, unedited by the way, yeah, coming at you with one of those, is because I feel I feel fucking great. I'm just gonna put it out there. I feel fucking great. And I don't have any delusions that this is going to last forever. You know, you all know I struggle with depression and anxiety and all of this stuff. So when you're up and you're feeling good, I feel like there's this desire to want to cling to it forever. But I feel like there have been a couple of shifts, and let me tell you what those shifts are. Because I like to be vulnerable with you guys and share the struggles and the hard times, but I also want to share when things are going well and when things are working and why, because it makes a difference. And you know, I've been doing this whole countdown till I turn 30 thing. And the crazy thing is, I actually feel like I'm starting to change. I actually feel a shift happening. Okay, first of all, let me just tell you that the biggest thing, the most major thing, is I think I'm actually learning how to love myself, which is crazy. I never thought that I would do that. I always thought I was going to be trapped in these cycles of self-hate, which is so painful, guys. It's really painful, and it's the root of my depression. My insecurity, I know this. I've been really thinking about it a lot. My insecurity is the root of my depression, and my insecurity comes from a lot of stuff. A lot of trauma, a lot of baggage, a lot of society, stuff. So it's working through all of those things individually is what's going to help me deal with and manage my depression. And so the fact that I've been able to identify that and admit that, because it's a hard thing to admit, when you're in the throes of depression and it's so big and scary and challenging and heavy. It's heavy. You literally, that's why you can't get out of bed. Or this is my experience with depression, where sometimes I literally just can't do anything because it feels like I'm being crushed. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but it just feels like you're just heavy and the weight of the world is literally on you. So there's so many birds flying around me. It's crazy. It's awesome. So there's that feeling, right? And when you're in that feeling, I think it's a little hard to admit what might be causing it. And not everybody knows, right? Sometimes it legit just is a chemical imbalance, but there's so much we don't know about our brains and how they work. And because our brains are capable of literally changing, you can create new pathways in your brain, we can literally change our brains. So it's if you're depressed, you have a lot of pathways that lead to depression, and maybe that messes with your chemical imbalance. So we really don't know, it's a what came first thing. And so I don't know this. I don't have the science or anything to prove it, but I believe that if you can change the way that you think, not that you can cure your depression necessarily, I don't want to make that bold claim, but maybe you'll deal with it less. Maybe it will affect you less. And that's because, if you feel bad about yourself, if you grew up in any sort of situation or for whatever reason have learned to feel bad about yourself, it only makes sense that you're going to be depressed. Who would be happy feeling bad about themselves? You know what I mean? That's a really hard and painful place to be, because that's your baseline for everything else that you do in the world. That's your baseline for how you interact with the world, for everything else that you do and say, and everything. It affects your confidence. It affects your ability to do anything, because it affects your belief about your abilities, right? And there's just so much that goes into it. But when you're in deep depression, I think it's hard to admit, at least for me. I'm not gonna generalize this because everybody's different. For me, I'm gonna personalize it. For me, it was hard for me to admit that what was triggering, oh my god, seagull. What was triggering my depression was the fact that I hate myself. And why I hate myself was because I'm so insecure, and I'm mostly insecure about there's a lot of things. Generally, I have this guilt complex. I feel guilty about everything. I feel bad about everything, I don't deserve anything. I feel like I'm always doing stuff wrong. But then it's also very much rooted in my appearance as well. You all know, I've told you, I've been talking about this. My face, my features, my bags, my nose, everything. I'm so insecure about it that it makes me just feel like I'm not worthy of anything, along with other issues that I have, the guilt complex and all that stuff that I was talking about. But this stuff has been so embedded in me since I was a kid, right? And so it only makes sense that my brain has pathways that lead to depression. So, point is, that I am learning to love myself. And the fact that I've been able to identify that my insecurity and what fuels my insecurities leads to my depression is huge for me. It's huge. And what's helped me to like love myself is just like accepting myself. Like, I've been wanting to lose weight. You know, that's been a big goal of mine. And I still want to. But as I said in this video, I don't want to wait to lose weight to feel worthy. I don't want to wait to lose weight to feel good about myself. I want to do everything I can to love and appreciate myself now, because that's my baseline for everything else. Because like, I don't even want it to be all about me, but I've got to take care of me and make sure I'm good before I can like do anything else or like give back to other people. I mean, not necessarily, you can do that simultaneously, but it's going to be hard, right? Like, it's really hard to do anything when your cup is empty, and your cup's going to be empty if you're not filling it with your own self-love, you know? So that's just been a game changer. Like, I feel this shift coming. Like, I had such a great time these last couple of days, and I was just allowing myself to be me. And anytime that I felt like embarrassed or insecure, I was able to like get out of my own head. And I was also able to and how did I do that? I guess I just focused on other people, and I didn't beat myself up as much for little things. Like, okay, this is what I did. Now I can identify it. I did a lot of like self-talking, self-soothing. So if I did something that I started to beat myself up about, I would self-talk and be like, it's okay, you're okay. Like, everybody messes up from time to time, or everybody feels weird sometimes, or everybody says things that they feel awkward about sometimes. And I just let it go. Like, saying those positive things to myself just helped me let it go, as opposed to what I normally do, which is like, oh my God, you're such an idiot, you're such a weirdo, like, why did you say that? You know, and it's just this cycle. And then of course you're just feeling bad, and it just accumulates and turns into this storm, and then you're just stuck in your own head. But part of like what helped me get out of my own head was I was part of this hype team. So our job was just to like hype everybody up. And so I didn't have time to think. I didn't have time to like be to myself. I was just, you know, I was present. And I was present because I had a role to play, which was helpful. And I had so many great conversations with people, and I allowed myself to be vulnerable. And I told so many people, like in one-on-one conversations, that like I struggle with insecurity, and I told them like how much I gave a lot of compliments that they were genuine, things that I've admired about people that I've never told them, because, you know, I'm insecure and all that. So I let them know, like, oh, I've always like thought this, but I just didn't tell you because, you know, I have this and that. And then we would get into real talks, and it's just like, it's a relief because you're not just dealing with it on your own, and you're not like being in your own head is the worst place to be, unless you're super positive in your mind and are loving on yourself in your mind like 24/7. If you're like looking in the mirror like, damn, I'm fine, you know, then your mind's probably a great place to be. But if you beat yourself up a lot in your head, you've got to get out of your mind, you know. You've got to find a way to get out of your own head, which is a challenge. Like, I'm saying it right now like it's easy. It was easy for me this week, but it's going to be a practice moving forward. I know I'm going to have to keep practicing getting out of my own head, but right now I'm just happy that I had such a great time, and I got to connect with people because I got out of my head, and it was all from self-soothing, telling myself nice things, comforting myself, reassuring myself, and not expecting too much from myself. Like, I think a lot of us do this, where it's like, you know, take a small situation where maybe you had an interaction with someone that felt a little awkward, and maybe you didn't, you felt like you didn't say the right thing, or maybe you felt like you said something wrong, or you didn't know what to say, and then you beat yourself up about it, right? Like, you're expected to be some sort of perfect performance robot or something, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's crazy. Nobody's like that. We're all in the same boat. Like, nobody knows what to say sometimes. And the other thing is, like, learn to feel what's genuine and what's not. Sometimes, like, I actually, like I already said, or maybe I said it. I recorded this video like twice already, and then I deleted it, so. But I love to talk. I really, really do. I love to talk with people. I love to get to know people. But that also, what I'm realizing is that doesn't mean I have to talk to people every second of every day. Like, if I see someone, I don't have to force a conversation if it's not going to be genuine. But I also shouldn't be scared to start the conversation if I genuinely want to. You know what I mean? So I'm struggling to find that balance as I'm allowing myself to be more me, and not expecting myself to be, you know, always on, but also allowing myself to follow through when it's genuine. I hope that's making sense. But yeah, there was just a lot of great moments, a lot of breakthroughs for me. I also realized, like, I haven't told you all where I work, and I'm not going to, but I love where I work. And this whole experience, and you know, I've been struggling with work too. Like, I've been saying, like, I'm stressed. I'm mostly stressed about losing my job. But this experience made me realize, like, one, people like me more than I think they do, which is really cool. Yay. So that makes me feel good, because it's like, okay, I do belong here. And the second thing is, it made me want to do better. Like, obviously I already wanted to do better, but I was coming at it from the perspective of, okay, these areas that I need to improve in, like, coming at it from like, I need to get better at this perspective, versus like, this is a great company, like, I've got to do like the best I can for the company. I don't know how to explain it, but it's different. It's like, one, I'm just focusing on my own metrics and my own, you know, day-to-day grind, versus like the big picture. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like, what I'm actually doing in practice is the same, but the reason behind it makes a big difference, because thinking about my metrics stresses me out, but thinking about doing better for the company makes me excited. And it's crazy how what you focus on makes a huge difference, even though the actions you would take are the exact same. The context surrounding it makes all the difference in the world. So this event, like, it really helped me want to, like, fully engage in the work that I'm doing at work, because it's a great company. They do take care of us. I do believe in the work that they do, but I also know that doing so is going to help me grow as a person, and it's going to help me have the stability that I need to continue to grow as a person. You know what I mean? So it's really awesome. It was a very impactful couple of days, and I'm just really thankful. I'm really thankful for it. I'm so thankful for it, and I feel great. I feel great right now. And so I hope that this continues. I'm learning to love myself one day at a time. I'm learning not to take life too seriously. I'm learning to have fun again. I'm learning to accept myself as I am and not have insane expectations of myself, but also to help to foster my own growth. So it's like, we're all going to grow, and we should self-actualize and contribute to our community, society, the world, people in our lives. But it shouldn't be with this, like, unrealistic expectation. Small example, not related to giving back, but with my weight loss thing again. I am learning to love myself now for the first time. I never thought this was going to happen until I lost weight. But also, it's not that I don't want to lose weight. It's just now I'm realizing, you know what? If I lose 5 pounds this year, and then, no, not 5. If I lose 10 pounds this year, and then 10 pounds next year, like, I don't care. Like, it'll be a lifestyle change, and the lifestyle is what matters. It's not the end result, because once you get to the end result, there's always going to be another end result. So if you're just constantly chasing end results, you're not enjoying the process of change. And that's the big difference too. I'm, like, starting to enjoy the process of change, and by doing that, my goals are more realistic, because I'm considering what it's actually going to take to get there, versus, like, what's the quickest way I can get there? What's the quickest way I can get there? You know, because that can burn you out, that can stress you out, that can skew your perspective on a lot of things, and kind of make you crazy. So that's what I'm realizing. I hope that makes sense. And I just want to send all of you love. If you struggle with self-love, if you struggle with, you know, being in your own head, social anxiety, all of these things, like, first, you're not alone. Second, you can come out of it. Like, you can learn to manage it better. You can have days where you feel good and where you don't feel that. And if you haven't experienced that yet, don't worry. It can happen in the future. You just have to just practice in moments of high anxiety. First thing, practice self-talking. Just know it's normal. Everybody goes through it. Nobody's perfect. And if anybody projects things onto you that has more to do with them than it does with you. And that's the truth. So, practice loving yourself. It's a practice. It's an art. Take care, and I'll see you all later.